we're good to go here. But dude, yeah,
Who said it?
Chauncey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's it's somewhat well known, but it's not like a super popular phrase of NIMBY.
Yeah,
But-
well, I use it.
Yeah, it's very accurate, especially like the areas of Atlanta we're in.
Yeah. No, well, I use it because I specifically, this is an apartment complex, but every day I walk to back in the parking lot and I yell at anybody who's back there. I go, get out of my backyard.
That's a quite more literal definition of
Yeah. No, I'm a real not in my backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just like the people that like go to like
Mhm.
another city or another country and see like beautiful architecture in these parks and these social spaces, and they're like, that's great. I wish that we had something like that in America. Then come home and raise taxes, vote for that, have more poor people being able to be in not in my backyard.
Yeah.
They vote against it.
Mm-hmm. Or even just small scale stuff of like, oh, I think everybody should be able to live their own lifestyle, but not around me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you will be getting HOA ordinances. You will not be.
I'll send you a cease and desist on being gay.
Yeah.
Could you not?
That was basically the lavender scare. Same thing as like the Red Scare, like when they were like investigating people on Congress, they're like, you have to go before the court and prove you're not gay.
Yeah. It's like that. Have you ever seen the movie I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry?
Oh, I saw it like as a kid. Yeah.
As a kid, I'm like, this is a hilarious movie. And then the ironic climax of the movie is that they're like, prove you're gay, kiss each other in court, and they're like, oh no. And it's like, okay, if I don't go to, I just have to kiss my boy and I don't go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Wait, they were gonna get put in jail?
It was something like that. It's been like 15 years or 20
I
years.
mean, almost all marriages are fake, you know? Like, you can't arrest someone for a fake marriage.
I've literally never been in I've literally, none of my family is married.
Mm.
And so I've never seen like a real marriage.
Yeah.
My grandpa got remarried at 70 and then he got divorced at 80.
Sick.
Dude.
I wrote it out for as long as I could.
She divorced him.
Oh.
Which I think, I was doing a joke about it a little while ago. It's still a line I use sometimes, but I was like, imagine being 80 and you're like, I got time. I can find someone else.
I mean, I respect it from the standpoint of like, imagine being an 80-year-old woman, like you saw how far like rights have like come for you, and like you're like, well, might as well get one in before like the fact that I can do this. This was not going to be something in my future. Let me get one before I exit the door, you know?
Yeah, because she was like 70 or so around the same time. So born in the 40s, maybe 50s at the latest.
She was 70 and he was...
Yeah, they were around the same age. They were both 70.
She was robbing the grave, taking advantage of that old man. You sick fuck, she was only 70.
God. Leave him alone. Dude. Yeah, so that was the only person that growing up, nobody was married. My aunt was, but then she got divorced, and she also lived in Florida, so we never saw them. And then my uncle was but I was too young to remember really them being married much. I just remember my uncle Matt, his wife Kelly, all she would do, she was like the kind of like movie Hollywood Vogue type wife, where all she would do all the time was just like suntan outside and smoke a cigarette.
Sick as hell.
Dude, honestly,
yeah. So much better than like the granola moms.
Dude,
a granola mom would be so mad at the double cancer you're getting right there.
Yeah. No, she's living life, living large. She would hang out by there because they had an in-ground pool. My uncle was doing well, and they had an in-ground pool, and the summers we would go there and visit. And I remember me and my cousins would just be playing in the pool, like with my sister, drowning each other. Yeah. And then she would just have like a drink and a cigarette and just go like, have fun, sweetie. And honestly, that's, I think, why anytime I see that person in a movie, I'm like, that lady rips. Yeah. Because I remember being at the pool and I remember thinking, this lady's awesome. and doesn't yell at me.
It kind of is it sad in a way, yes, but I think for the right type of person, if you just find out that you can live comfortably and just kind of get fucked up and chill in like a very controllable situation for the rest of your life, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get the appeal of that.
Oh, absolutely. She did eventually divorce my uncle, and then married another guy, I think named Gary, and then Gary,
Gary is such a second husband name. That is,
yeah, it was something like that. And then, dude, I remember this. I felt so bad about this. So my mom hated Kelly, and even though she also kind of hates my Uncle Matt, her older brother,
yes,
she did despise Kelly truly to her core. And they got divorced, and then Kelly remarried Gary, right?
yeah.
And my mom would always complain about Kelly and would complain about Gary, her new husband. And to me, she would be like, Gary sucks. He looks ancient.
Yeah.
He did look like an older Steve Buscemi. So she like hated on him to me and stuff. And then Gary, my cousin's now kind of stepdad, died of a heart attack. And dude, I remember I made a joke of like, because I was always around my mom, I just went like, good riddance. And then I could tell my cousins were upset. My sister pulled me aside and she was like, that was really inappropriate. And they actually really liked Gary. He was a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sorry. I was just quoting mom.
Yeah. You think that that's the universal? I don't know.
Yeah.
I did have the opposite where I think everyone did not like him. Like, it's one thing if like an uncle marries into your family, but they were there before you were born. But like an aunt's second husband or boyfriend or anything like that, it was my mom's sister, and we were like living with her like when my mom like first left my dad, and like her boyfriend Paul, my Aunt Debbie's boyfriend Paul, he hated that we lived there so much. And I just remember as a kid, it sticks out to me so much of going through the living room where he didn't know it was an earshot, and him opening up the fridge and then yelling at Debbie like, we have to get them out of here. He keeps drinking all the goddamn Sunny D. And I was a little kid. I was fiending for that Sunny D. I was pounding those shits.
How old were you?
Oh man, this had to be like first grade, second grade. So I was
You're like 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. A 6-year-old pounding Sunny D? Absolutely, dude.
It was a cramped house too, because it was my aunt and her boyfriend, then 3 of my cousins. Like
so she had her own kids.
Yeah, they're all like much older. Dan, Dave, and Doug. And then my mom and me at one point.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's also how were your cousins? Like, were you cool with them? Were they cool with you?
Yeah, they would kind of like babysit me a little. The youngest one would babysit me. He was in high school, Dan.
Oh, so they're way older.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Now they're like, they're all like, married with like kids.
They're probably like 40 something, each of them, you know?
Probably around there now, yeah. So I remember one of the middle ones worked for my dad at like a video game exchange, which was the precursor to GameStop.
Dude, working with your chill ass uncle at a video game store
wasn't even then. Like I didn't exist yet.
Oh wow.
No, I did exist. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, dude. I imagine that your cousin was just like I imagine your dad and cousin were like bros. Like,
no.
Really?
No, I think I don't think the two sides of my family, I don't think ever really, I never saw them interact. I don't think they really got along at all. Like
that's kind of a bummer.
My mom's side of the family is all like super Republican. One of those Dave, one of them he like, I remember during COVID, like he was like at like the Trump 2020 like voting rally in Florida, and like,
oh wow,
like they're like super MAGA. At least some of them are.
Yeah, that sucks. No,
Moving on too, that's always fun.
Yeah, when you get like the I don't like stuff and I'm scared. the mixture of those two.
That's every once in a while I see some of them like watch like my story clips, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this gets out there, maybe this gets back to them. But this is something I always wanted to say to like Dave about like the QAnon stuff. It's like, brother, we're so close. I also think it's just pedophile cabals, but it's not like. But you have to approach it from a left perspective, not a right-wing perspective.
Yeah, it's pedophile cabals, and Trump's gonna stop them.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Yeah.
no, Bill Clinton will stop them.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Dude, no.
Famous anti-pedophile.
Dude, this kind of, I mean, is a perfect lead-in. Do you feel like how do you feel like your family has affected you? Do you feel like you are, considering you grew up with people who became more QAnon people, do you feel like you are more trending towards conspiracy theory style?
No, I think I kind of almost like rebelled by being a normie little shit lib. Like I was like already like middle school age, and I was like getting in trouble for watching The Daily Show. You know, like the way that like I was rebelling was like very like I don't know, like the mildest like pushing back of that stuff. I say that while I was also like smoking weed and the rest of it. But I think it's very funny because I always point out that like my mom would hate that I'd watch The Daily Show.
How would your dad feel?
I mean, I was living with my mom up until like high school, so this was just like there, and then, but then the Colbert Report would come on afterwards, and I'd watch that as well, and she was like, I hate Jon Stewart, I kind of like Stephen Colbert. I'm like, oh, you're dumb enough that the satire.
It hits you at just like
it does soften the blow. You still like, even if it's like them taking the piss out of you.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, when it was at the height of it, they did some kind of like research or study or something that said that people who are left-wing would watch the Colbert Report and be like, yes, he is making fun of conservatives.
Yeah.
You know, just like plainly satire, making fun of conservatives. Conservatives thought that he was making fun of liberals by pretending to be the caricature of a conservative.
Yeah.
They went 2 steps further.
Yeah. He's a secret double agent. He's like, this is what you think of us.
Yes. And
okay, that's funny.
And then that reality came crashing down when he took over the Late Show. And everybody was like, oh no, he's just left-wing. He's just a progressive.
I was having this conversation last night with someone because we were talking about both those shows, and like the idea of like, oh, because he's a little bit older than me. He's like, oh, I wish Colbert would come back. I'm like, you couldn't do that. Like the satire of like Bill O'Reilly, like the O'Reilly Report, like that's what it was. You couldn't come back and do that because like cable news doesn't exist in the same way. You would have to do like, I don't know, Tucker Carlson maybe, or like honestly probably Nick Fuentes, and do like that version of like right-wing media figure.
Yeah. Nick Fuentes truly is like, I don't even understand how somebody could be like, oh, he represents what I'm, you know what I mean? He's so completely like just clearly calling for eugenics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, which by the way reminds me of Rory Scovel's bit. This was something I thought of when I was like learning about it in school, where Rory has the joke of like, why don't we just genocide all the stupid people? And then I remember hearing that and being like, yeah, I thought that like 10 years ago when I first was like 14 learning about what genocide is. I was like, why don't I just do the dumb ones? Yeah. Such a good bit.
Well, then who's the dumb one?
Exactly. That's the whole point of like, it's somebody else declaring the value of another person.
Yeah. That's when like, I think it's very funny when people like have like what they think is like supposed to be like a progressive point of view that just it just goes back to eugenics.
Yeah.
Like my favorite one is like, this is a bit I've tried to make work that just never quite works, but it's so funny to me. Like the white moms who have like, I see the bumper sticker a lot like in the Decatur area, euthanize people, not pit bulls.
Oh yeah.
which is like such a crazy stance to have. I feel like
Yeah.
you could have just won me over, like, don't euthanize the dogs. I'd be willing to hear that out. Be like, actually, let's take a human life as well.
Actually, yeah, I really do want to put down a man,
Yeah.
but
No, I'm sure we'll only pick the right ones to euthanize. We'll never get it wrong ever.
every dog is good.
Yeah.
That dog ate my child. Put down his owner. His
Well,
owner made him bad.
That's the thing about like living with my aunt, that Aunt Debbie. She was all those like right-wing older women are huge dog lovers.
Yeah,
It's so
for
funny. I know it's like something that's like been pointed out.
No.
Not Chrissy, no.
Somehow that skipped her.
Yeah. Maybe she's something else. Maybe she's just libertarian.
Yeah.
She don't got the
I
dog.
think every person should have the right to put down a dog.
You know what it really is? I think also the idea of like loving dogs and actually taking care of them is a poor person trait.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. That's where I think that actually disagrees.
Here's the thing. I do think that I think that the women on opposite sides of the spectrum are dog people. It's just a different kind of dog. Because left-wing women want to adopt the saddest, most broken dog in the world. And then right-wing women want to adopt the purebred luxury dog.
That's what I'd argue against them. Like, realize I'm thinking about, like, from my experience, like, my Aunt Debbie was someone who, she loved picking up strays. I mean, like, one of the dogs.
Oh, really?
Like, one of the dogs she had, I remember, was it Tiger or Shiloh? One of them, they were both, like, chained up in the backyard, and one of them took, like, a shotgun blast to the face.
Jesus.
And was, like, a real fucked up. And she would just, like, take in those style dogs and have so much empathy for them. But then, like, say the most racist things you've ever heard, you know?
Yeah.
It's so funny. I know it's a cliche. Like, people point out that people have more empathy for animals than they do for humans. But it's really funny to see in person.
It's funny when she's like, all they want to do is, like, get welfare checks. And it's like, that's what your dog is doing. Your dog is living on welfare right now. It can't do dog stuff.
Yeah.
You got to feed it through, like, the side of its face.
That's like, the dog didn't choose to do this. It's like, you think every person who needs help chose to be there, brother?
Yeah. You think I chose to be poor and broken?
Yeah.
No,
That she's going into the house where those dogs are chained up out back, brushing the children aside to pick up the dogs and leave with them.
House is on fire. She grabs the dogs, shoves her children in the closet, somehow thinking that the fire will focus on them.
Yeah.
No, I said the thing about like progressive women adopting every sad dog.
And that is true.
I think because every girl I've dated, first of all, is bisexual, but also if they had a dog, it was the biggest sob story you've ever heard about the dog.
Yeah.
And you could tell that in a way as they said it, they were like, I'm a good person, you know? And it's like, hey, you did a good thing. This does not absolve the rest.
Yeah.
But then every right-wing woman I've met who has a dog is like, I paid $16,000 for this dog. Treat it as such.
And it is allergic to literally anything that exists. It is the most, you're like pure inbred, fucking deathly looking dog too.
Yeah. And they both, that's the thing is that left wing, right wing, the dog looks bad.
Yeah, the dog's not doing well.
Yeah, the dog is suffering.
That's horseshoe theory. And you go so far and you just have a dog that's having a rough
Both of
time.
them struggle to breathe.
Yeah.
It's just one had an accident, the other is born like that. Yeah, so that's where, I mean, like my two exes ago, had like a 3-legged dog that lost its leg because its previous owner shot it.
Only got the leg. How big of a dog?
It was a medium dog. It was like a border collie size.
Damn, so you really shouldn't have missed that much.
No. Well, it's a whole dude, it's such a crazy story that apparently they were practicing on the dog with BB guns. and then eventually was like, let's use a bullet.
Oh, so they're psychopaths.
Again, every episode Weaver makes an appearance.
Andrew
That's
Weaver.
so fun. But so dude, he's like my Kramer. But so or other better reference, he's like my Pineapple in any episode of Psych. You know?
Never watched Psych.
Dude, good show. Good show.
I would always come on before or after. I was a big pro wrestling kid, and Monday Night Raw was on USA, so I'd always see the advertisements for it.
Yeah.
That and Monk.
I was a big Monk kid, and
I was a big Monk kid. Is funny.
dude, I'm telling you, like 8, 9 years old watching Monk, like this guy gets me.
Yeah.
And then my mom,
You're at school at 9 years old. I'm like, what do you like to do outside of school? I really like Tony Shalhoub. That's kind of like what I'm into.
dude, I'm a big Shaloub head.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom, when the Cars movie came out, she was like, you'll like cars. Tony Shalhoub is the tire dealer. And then anytime somebody would bring up Cars as a kid, I would be like, yeah, Tony Shalhoub is in that movie. And
Yeah, I did not know that.
he'd be like, who is that?
That is kind of like a beautiful knowledge of your child. Like, not selling on the fact that it's a Disney Pixar, it's animated, you're gonna love it, it's so funny.
Yeah.
There's a little Southern truck in there that's so funny.
Yeah.
Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah.
Tony Shalhoub.
No, my mom was like, that's Tony Shalhoub. And anytime I watched the movie, I would be like, that's my guy. And when I was also growing up, my mom and I would watch Monk together. It was actually one of like the nicer things that we did together. We watched that and we watched Psych. And we loved trying to watch it and solve who it was before the end of the episode. And there was a couple times where I remember watching Psych that we were like halfway through the episode and I was like, it's that guy. And she was like, no way. And then we would get to the end of the episode and it would be twisted. It was him. And I was like, see, I told you, because all the evidence and stuff. And so that was a great memory. But my mom, to kind of mess with me and tease me, she would call me Monk. And then anytime I would be like having an overstimulating thing, she would just go like, oh, do the hands like Monk. And I'd be like, stop. I'm not going to do that. I don't
Have you tried stimming like Mr. Shalhoub?
But yeah, because he was very particular. He didn't like, dude, a big thing about me is I don't like my hands being dirty. And so Chauncey and I just drove back from Florida.
Counterpoint, who does?
I've seen people who can eat a meal and wipe their hands and be chill with it. And
okay.
And
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Like, I'm saying like, you know, some people who can just like, their hand touches something, they just wipe it and they're like, all right.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's just like, it's like T-Rex brain where it's just now I don't remember that happening. That's insane to me. Chauncey and I were on our way back from a wedding this past weekend in Florida and we're driving back up and I had like saved a steak from the wedding and I was trying to eat it and all I could find for a utensil was a plastic fork from a gas station. And this is a pretty nice heavy steak.
Yeah.
And the fork was not doing it. And I just went,
you gotta try to balance it like the little cup ball thing.
Dude, I swear to God, I'm like, and then anytime I try to pull, the fork just starts coming out.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey, this fork isn't working. Do you have wet wipes? And she was like, I do have wipes. And I went, okay. And I started just eating it with my hand. And at the end, I just went like, wipe. And then I just wiped my hands. And in that full moment, I was like, my mom was right.
No, you forgot the secret third option. You just eat it like a dog. You just put the steak in your mouth and just keep.
I think I could do, well,
Keep going.
It was like, oh, I can normally
Don't
do that.
savor a single bite.
I normally can do that, but it was like long.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I could just go, because there was a bite that I was able to shove in, but it was long. So I couldn't like, go as I've done that before and keep it up. I'm also the one driving. So I can't like, like face up, just like feed it to myself one bite at a time and swallow. Yeah.
Also, that kind of reminds me though, I remember watching shows with my mom. Like it was a very different like vibe because a lot of times I would have control of the TV because she'd be kind of like pilled out a little bit on the couch, just kind of like nodding off.
Okay.
But one of my favorite things I think is so funny is she just really loved letting me watch a series finale. Like, it didn't matter what the show was if she was invested in it. So like it was what was that Jennifer Love Hewitt ghost show?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's like yeah, where she can see them and know and she
Yeah.
like helps. Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. I want to say Ghost, you know, but like
something. I watched the finale of that, never seen an episode before, and I was like, okay, cool. And then the only episode of The Sopranos I've ever seen is the finale.
the one that people complain about.
Yeah, because my grandpa and my mom, who I lived with, like what was happening, like they got together to watch the finale, and they were sitting there watching. I don't know if they ever watched any of the other shows. I never saw them watch The Sopranos. So I think we all kind of just sat down for this is going to be a cultural moment.
Yeah.
So let's all watch the finale. And I kind of remember only coming into the room. I didn't even watch the full episode. I literally have only seen
that episode.
No, only the diner. Like the
I don't know the finale. Yeah.
Oh, it just cuts to black and everything where he walks in the diner and all these characters keep walking back in, and then it looks like something might happen, and then it just Don't Stop Believing's playing.
Okay.
And then it just cuts to black.
I've heard the finale, but I've heard, doesn't every episode always cut to black, or is that incorrect?
I don't know. I've only seen 10 minutes of The Sopranos.
Okay.
It's the last 10 minutes of the final.
I don't understand why I asked you, because you literally spent the past 2 minutes telling me you've never seen another moment of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why I would have even asked.
Yeah, real quick, can you tell me what it's like to be a Chinese woman?
Actually, I can't. I can try. Dude, so what I will say this, and then I want to move on to a question asking about your parents and whatnot. But when people would ask oh, what would you like as a superpower? I don't want anything. The ability I want is technically overpowered, but I would not use it in an overpowered way. I would like to be able to fully change my reality. Not in a way of oh, I have fire for hands, or I can summon what I could turn whatever to what. All I want to do is, speaking of the interest of the human condition and love for other experience, I would like to be able to change my own reality to be what's it like to be a Japanese boy in the 80s? I'm really fascinated by what that experience is.
Oh, what was that show where the dude would jump into other people's bodies?
Basically that.
Yeah,
I would like
Scott Baio was that who it was? Something like that. Scott Bakula.
Scott Bakula. Okay.
Yeah, it was yeah. And there's the famous gif of him jumping into one of the episodes as he looks into the mirror, and you see him, the actor, but in the mirror it's a mentally retarded person. He just goes, "I'm retarded," and that's that video has been used in a lot of reactions to a lot of things I've seen.
That's awesome, dude. That's what I say every morning in the mirror to myself anyway. That's not different.
Something Leap. It was something Leap. It doesn't matter. Man, I love just trying to remember TV show names on this podcast. That's what he brought me here for. Was
This
to remember
podcast
names.
is honestly trying to remember TV shows that you vaguely remember from when you were a boy is, I think, every day of my life.
Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap? Oh,
that's the name of the show.
If you bring up a cartoon show from the early 2000s onward.
Ghost Whisperer was the other one.
Oh, was that the...
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Nice. Nailing these. Bringing up any cartoon from the early 2000s, I most likely saw it. Favorite one to bring up that nobody talks about, probably My Gym Partner's a Monkey. That one was so good.
Yeah.
That's a flashback for anybody watching. My Gym Partner's a Monkey. Specifically, the moment that I felt seen in that show was when Jake the monkey found a bit that he did where he would flip over and use his tail as a mouth on his butt and do a funny voice and say, okay, dokie. And that, I remember I was in 3rd grade and I had a bit that I would go to school and people would ask me hey, Jacob, say hello. And anytime somebody said hello to me, I'm an autistic child. I'm figuring out how to communicate. I would just go, hello. And then people thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
And so they would just ask me to do that over and over again. And I remember he started getting diminishing returns on this bit.
Yeah.
And then he eventually finds all the other class clowns who all had their one bit that they did, and it never like grew to anything more. And then I was like, that's me. I'm going to be that. And so I started to diversify my joke portfolio in 3rd grade.
Is that like, I've heard a few stories about that. Is that like kind of like a common experience of like growing up, like autism is like sort of like cartoons, like sort of like social norms, like interactions through like media?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Has that ever steered you wrong?
Oh,
You like saw something like on a cartoon? Because I feel like I did that as a kid. I would like take things I thought were like, case in point, I remember Codename Kids Next Door. The villain, they're like playing mini golf, and he cheats and he kicks the ball in, and I saw that he's like, no, I didn't, and I thought that was so funny.
yeah.
And I was playing mini golf with my dad, and I did the same thing. He's like, no, I didn't. He's like, and he was like getting mad. He was like, I saw you do it, and I'm like, I didn't have the words to be like, it's a bit from a thing that I thought was funny.
Yeah. I'm making a reference to a thing you don't know.
Yeah. I didn't know how to explain that.
Yeah. So then he's just genuinely mad that you're cheating.
No, he's mad that I'm lying to him. There's like, he thinks I'm lying to him by being like,
Yeah.
oh, no, I didn't cheat. Like, because I'm actually trying to get away with it. Like, in my head, I'm like, Codename Kid Next Door.
You're trying to dap him up.
Codename Kid Next Door.
He's just really mad.
Yeah.
Yes. One moment it was, this is the one that comes off the top of my head. The one that I had like shame about when it happened. You've watched Naruto.
Yeah.
He's
watched Dexter as a kid and you killed someone.
Yeah, dude, I set up tarps in Richard Man.
Yeah.
And then like nobody got that I was like joking. It was like really
No, like from the show.
Yeah. Okay. I watched Silence of the Lambs, and I ate a man, and then I skinned a woman and dressed in her body, and everybody was like coming at me for it.
But what Naruto?
The 10,000 Years of Death. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So me and my little brother, keep in mind he's like much younger than me or whatever, but I'm also like, yeah, he's like 8 years younger than me or whatever. So I'm probably like, I don't know, 12 or something like that. And he's 4 and we're playing around. And at that time, like our mom kind of left us to our own.
Yeah.
I kind of raised him.
Yeah.
And so we're playing around.
12's old enough.
He likes to roughhouse. And so then I had just seen this thing on Naruto and I was trying to show him Naruto too. And he was doing something. And then I did the 10,000 Years of Death on him. And my mom saw and she was like, "Are you a rapist?"
Oh no, my son's a Lena Dunham.
Dude, my mom was like, first of all, she's like, "Are you gay? Are you trying to like rape your brother? Like what made you think that was okay?" And it was like, this is all a reference to a show.
Yeah.
And I now feel like I have to defend myself legally. Like, I feel like I have to now present a lawyer to be like, my client is 12 and referencing an anime.
You're just panicking. You're like, it's Shadow Clone Jutsu.
Yeah.
You can't beat all of us.
I do a substitute. She goes, "Are you gay?" And then it's just I poof and a log drops.
Yeah. You do the sexy jutsu where you start into
I just take off my
girl Naruto.
Dude, that would be so funny. Is if my mom goes, Are you a gay rapist trying to assault your brother? And I take off my shirt and I just go, "Sexy jutsu." And then she's like, "What the fuck?" Oh my God.
Yeah, no more TV for this one.
But that's like not a social norm.
Yeah.
But it is something I saw on a show that I was like, that's not like a problem.
Yeah, that's a very normal. Again, like I feel like I did that all the time as a kid.
Or yeah, like trying to, I mean, I was a classic autistic kid, like replicating anime stuff on the playground, you know?
And again, I was a big pro wrestling kid, so no matter how many "don't try this at home" videos you
Oh my God, yeah.
My friend had a barn and a trampoline, So we were like, oh, we love Jeff Hardy. So we would just climb to the top of the barn and swanton bomb each other onto the trampoline. Both go flying in the. It's so funny though, because it's like,
how tall is this barn?
oh, it was, I would say, probably about like your patio height.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
that's like when people are like,
For the listeners at home, that's 1,000 feet.
yeah, he lives in the sky. But it's so funny to me, like, people will be like, oh, kids will watch pro wrestling and not get that it's fake. I think, like, a 12-year-old boy who watches pro wrestling has a better understanding of that than anyone else because they're immediately doing it on their friends.
Yeah.
And so you immediately learn, like, how to work a suplex. Like, you kind of, like, you're doing that on the trampoline. Oh, I have to jump for him to be able to do it. Like, you immediately, you create pro wrestling from first
more
principles.
impressive.
Yeah.
It makes it more impressive because you're like, I know how hard it is to sell that or do that. When who was it? Cena lifts up Big Show straight up and then like squats and comes back up and then like just plops him down. One, you're like, John Cena's the strongest man alive.
Yeah.
Two, for Big Show to be point to point all the way up and down.
Oh, the core strength to like
This
say,
core strength to be like a 7-foot big guy.
Yeah.
Is insane.
That's like the funny thing. It's like what I was talking about was dangerous. We were not being safe in that sense, but we were being safe workers. Like if we were in the ring, when we were doing that swanton bomb, we knew exactly what to do. You overshoot and you just want your shoulders to hit grace their stomach. We knew how to do like a safe worked swanton bomb off the barn.
And your partner has to know how to adjust in case you like mess it up.
It's instinct to do you'll see it like pro wrestling. Some people are like, oh, it kind of ruins it. Why are they doing it? It's just like safe working where someone will be coming down and they'll be laying there, but they'll come up to catch them a little bit. Like, it's like just
you're trying to break the fall.
But we would do that for each other.
Yeah. It's very much so. They're trying to sell the move, but they're not trying to destroy themselves or their friend. Because you're like, hey, this guy I spend hours like hanging out, working out, like working with. I don't want him to die right now.
Yeah. And we're also independent contractors. So we
So
are no guaranteed money.
We are also out of pocket on all these medical bills. I know exactly if he does not nail
you better be safe, brother.
Yeah. Well, I did actually, so I want to circle back because this is a podcast about growing up. What can you say about your parents? I will say, like, how do you feel like it affected you? And also a bigger question is, do you still, no matter what happens, still have love for both your parents?
My parents split. The brief version of it, my parents split when I was very young. Sir, what'd you?
It's just like little dust coming in from a brief.
But love my dad to death. Amazing man. So thankful for him. My mom is a addict.
Was she? So she wasn't always an addict, though.
For my entire life, like she's one of the first victims of the opioid crisis, right? So like, it was like right before I was born, she was like a car accident and like broke her nose, and they put her on like opioids. And from my understanding, because no one really talked through it with me, started then and just never really got off.
And so she was on them while pregnant with you.
That I don't know to what extent.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where the eczema was coming through.
Oh, really? Is that a thing?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe it's why I'm 5'8" and the rest of my family is much taller.
Hey, you know what? I've also
yeah. I was gonna say she recently she's been out of my life really since I graduated high school. So over a decade.
Yeah.
And then there'd be times where she'd call me from like different like rehab, outpatient facilities, inpatient facilities.
Yeah.
Throughout that post like that. It'd be like sporadic every few years. Got to a point where I was like, oh, not talking to her anymore. And then it was late last year. She reached out through one of my aunts Facebook account. Was like, hey, I have lung cancer. I'm getting surgery at Kennestone. Didn't know she was in Georgia. And then like had like a whole crisis of like going back and forth. Like, what do I do? Do I see this person? Do I? And like, what I decided on was, I went to the hospital and I gave a card to my aunt who was there with her. There was a get well soon card that just said, I just wrote, I forgive you on it. And that was all I put on there.
That's really kind.
Yeah, because I didn't know how it was going to go. I haven't heard anything since. I don't know what the situation is. But like, so like, I don't know. And even when I did the I forgive you, I don't think I genuinely feel that way yet. But there's like that realization that like, I want to be at that point. I know I will be at that point. But I don't know if I would have the guaranteed ability to express that. So I'm going to kind of like go ahead and express it now. And wait for the rest of it to catch up.
You know, that kind of reminds me, and this is not to take over from what you're talking about, but to relate to that feeling of, I don't think I'm there now, but I want to be. It kind of reminds me of, this happens for me a lot in relationships, that sometimes I emotionally disconnect from the other person. And it's not that I want to, but it just happens. And I can tell that my distance is upsetting them. Obviously, very obviously. But I don't feel the need, desire, or ability to express affection, to be like, hey, I feel disconnected from everything, not just you.
Yeah.
And so it feels almost like I have to, it feels almost like doing a squat, like working out. But in those moments, I will, like, say we're going to bed, I will reach over and just like extend my hand and just touch their back and just like very lightly rub. And for me, it sucks to say that feels difficult, but in that moment, that's all I can muster, to just be like, I want to connect, but I don't have the ability right now. Yeah. And that's what that feels like. That's what that sounds like to me, of like, I don't know where I'm at emotionally right now. And maybe I don't mean this in this moment. Like when I reach out and rub their back for a second, it does feel like I am forcing myself, and I don't feel this within my heart of like giving affection. Yeah. But I'm doing it for them. And I feel like that in itself is a lot of kindness, to be like, I'm going to say this because I want to be there, but also I know it will help you in this moment.
Yeah. There's also like kind of the middle ground of not seeing in person. I don't know if I was able to bring myself to do that.
That's very difficult.
Because it's like, I don't know, I've heard some people, I talked to like a lot of people in my life, and like some people were very much more like, you should see her. But I've also heard the stories of like someone like reconnecting with a parent, and your last like vision of them is like a very like sickly like sort of thing.
That's rough. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, that's already like a little tough. And then, I don't know, I talked
also,
about earlier.
Your first vision of them, first and possible last vision of them in years.
Yeah.
Is like this version of them just in a bed falling apart. Yeah. Sorry to cut you off. You were saying.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, it also like, because we talked about like earlier in the pod, like my family, like very Republican, like growing up with my mom. We also just don't get along, which I do think is kind of like a funny thing that I used to like do as part of like the talking about it on stage.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it sucks because even if this wasn't there. Yeah. Like the addiction stuff, I don't think we'd be buddy.
No, it's not a good hang.
Yeah, she said the N-word hard R. I don't think we would get along as people.
Yeah, because I mean, I would for sure. Yeah, she and I would. Could you give me her number? Yeah, sounds like my dog.
Yeah.
No, that's a thing I'm starting to think about now, is like, what kind of relationship do I want with my mom? And thinking about it, I was like, my mom and I were like never really hanging super hard. I mean, like when you're really young, you're kind of just doing anything with your mom.
Kind of got no other option.
Yeah, yeah. You're kind of stuck with that lady.
Yeah.
You're 6 years old. You're not like, I'm gonna head down to the bar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the boys we're hitting up an open mic. But it's like, I remember one time me and my mom are watching a movie, and my mom loves when someone else in a movie gets covered in shit or piss.
What did she think it was funny?
She thinks it's really funny.
Okay.
She thinks it's really funny if she loves a poo-poo joke.
Okay.
And as like a 10-year-old, I remember watching stuff with my mom and just being like, my mom has no taste in comedy.
That's so funny. You as a kid were like, I'm above this.
Yeah, no, I truly think I've been an adult in my body for as long as I've been.
My mom did like a lot of comedies that were like, that was like kind of a nice thing in the house. Like, I mean, like basics. I like Will Ferrell, and like we watched all those movies, and she like, I think she was a hip, cool kind of person at one point. Like, she was dating my dad, like when he was in a band and everything. I think she was like a very cool, like she loved all that stuff. And then, I don't know, people just get older and they become more Republican, and then also drugs kind of have an effect on your brain. Where like she got like so...
I do kind of understand if you're a pillhead being Republican and like being like, we should limit access to healthcare because nobody else can have this. This is really bad for you.
I think that like it's perfect. Like Fox News, like obviously like, they took over like with like old people, and like kind of like is appealing to that like sort of like brain mush thing. But yeah, I think if people like are on just any type of like mind altering substances to a crippling amount, of course, I'm sure that's got to take some hold.
Yeah, and also you're like, anybody who's on some kind of drug thinks they're a genius. So then all of a sudden you're connecting threads that aren't there. And then now you're like, you can be more fooled.
That my mom probably would have done really well in this time period with like the Tony Hinchcliffe stuff. Because I remember at a very young age being in the house and like her complaining about like PC culture.
Wow.
And like my mom's side of the family is like Polish from like Illinois.
Okay.
And you're like, well, on this sitcom, they used to call them the Polacks, and we had no problem with that. Why can't we?
Wow.
Why is everyone so sensitive now? And I remember that like, when I hear like comics saying that now, I'm like, this is like just what's been in my ear since I was like 7.
Yeah. So then, you're like, you're complaining about my mom was light years ahead.
Yes, no, well, in comics, you're like, you can't say anything anymore. Like, it's too like, well, now it's like, you literally sound like my mother, dog. Like, you're not like this, like, great, like, free speech absolutist, like, who's like, you're the last bastion of what you sound like my pillhead mother.
Yeah.
I feel bad. Even saying pillhead was offensive. I felt bad about that.
You're a comedian. You went for the descriptor.
Yeah, that's like the easier way to say it. But she was a woman who struggled with addiction.
Yeah, and so are the homeless people that we see comedians constantly dog on.
Yeah, that's why. I try not to. I try to use.
I see. The thing is that I am, and I'm trying to do this more. I'm trying to. I actually told my therapist this today that. One, for me, I am actually kind of an inverse of a person where when I get to know you, I want you to know the like deepest things about me first, and then we can work backwards. Like if I could flip myself inside out, I would be like, hey, here's all the upfront, like one of my favorite shows is called B.A.A.D. And it's hosted by Jerry Springer, R.I.P. And on the show, they reveal the craziest baggage about these people up front before you go on a date with them. Because it's like, hey, everybody's got baggage. So they have like suitcases on there, like they flip it over like it's you know, do you want to be a millionaire or not? Deal or no deal.
Yeah.
And they open it and it'll be like, I set my ex's car on fire or whatever, and it's stuff like that. And they go, it's there's levels to the baggage as well that they reveal. Great show. And I kind of like that. I'm like, yeah, let me reveal my baggage to someone, to an audience. I want to do that. And then once we all kind of on that playing field, we can move forward and we can be more open. And I'm happy to hear what your baggage, I want to know what your baggage is. You fascinate me. You just sitting there being a person, you fascinate me.
Here's an idea that I had that I was thinking it's gonna be two-pronged. As you were saying that, I was thinking about my own personal life. I was like, I feel like I used to be very much more like upfront with like people in my life, like with that kind of like heavy information early on. And now I feel like I've evolved as a writer where I just like to let it show through my actions. Then I explain later and it makes sense. It explains all of it. But it also kind of like that, kind of like doing that as a stand-up show would actually be kind of funny, where like the comic like writes down their baggage. You don't do like a set necessarily about that.
Yeah, but you
like,
just know it
and so you're watching all the comics and like say like at the end like what baggage applies to which comic.
That's a great idea. I like that.
Like that's it made me think that I'm like, well, yeah, can you actually like be subtle with it, and like is it like slowly, like, does it seep through your personality that you used to be a heavy drinker or whatever, you know, and now you're like sober, like you don't do a bit about being sober, but
I mean, how many comedians do we know who are subtle about their stand?
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, if I did the mom thing, I wouldn't do the mom material, but I would do like jokes about smoking weed at like a young age, like you were lasky kid.
People would pick up on it. There would be little clues. Yeah, mine would be like, I mean, obviously, I have like 1,000 things of baggage. I think you as well. But it's like the things I've always listed off as the main things are no dad, abusive mom, autistic, raised my little brother. And was like, had no friends for like years and years, like up until high school. And so you just get this like isolated mind. And then that's why I go off stage and I'm like, I hate small talk. And then people will be like, yeah, it's probably that guy.
Yeah.
The guy who feels, that's where, I'm trying to make the stage, where I feel more comfortable to be myself. And that's why it's more vulnerable to be like, hey, this is what I think about, you know, like whatever. Because for me, it's like, I'm trying to explore this thought myself and I don't fully have a formed opinion. I kind of want to have a dialogue about it with an audience, but the audience is also sitting there like, when are you going to say something that's concrete? And it's like, I don't know. I'm just talking. I know it's like the sin of stand-up of like, oh, don't go up there and just talk. But it's like, that's what I want to do, is I want to just go up there and I just want to talk and find out. But then, you know, I've talked about it with other comics before that I always feel like I don't have an opinion. And then I'll be on stage and somebody in the audience will say something. And I'm like, what'd you say? And then they'll say like, oh, I don't like that. And I go, you're wrong. And then immediately I'm like, no, I don't like, just vibes alone, you're wrong. Yeah. And then I can immediately come up with 3 arguments of why I'm correct and why they're wrong. And I'm like, why can't I do this? Not only when I'm sitting down writing, but also when I'm just on stage.
Yeah.
Like it has to be with another person. I have to be engaged with another person for my harsh, aggressive opinions to come out. I always think I'm a really chill guy. I'm walking around and then someone does one thing and I go, I hate that. They should be melted down.
Yeah. Well, it's because it sounds like reactions are a big part of, like, say, like a lot of points of view in comedy, or like your reaction to something.
Yes, my reactions are the funny.
Comedy really is that. So yeah, but
yeah. There was one time I was on stage a few weeks ago, and this woman in the audience, she just like, it was at like a bar, whatever. It was at a beer growler, and she was like rummaging through this plastic bag. And I'm trying to do, and it's like, it's just like picking up in this room, and it's really loud. And she just keeps doing it. She's just rustling with this bag, and it's going on for probably like 15 seconds. And I just go, that bag is dreadful. And then it got like a laugh, and I just went, I need you to stop. And it's like my reaction to that is very funny, but it's like that's all I have is just I going through my life am fine. I have said this before. If you left me alone in a room for the rest of eternity, I would be completely fine and calm. I would not flip out. I'd be like, this is a great time. Just give me a little bit of like, give me a book. I'll read it over. It's fine. I don't care. As soon as you introduce another person, I am upset.
That's I've been interacting with people on stage more recently, and I've noticed I keep doing this thing where I'll kind of like point something out or use someone for something, and immediately the most intense shame, guilt, I turn around. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I turn around. Like I usually I like face and completely like reset.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't know why I could like say like stuff on stage and be completely fine with it. But like one audience member making a joke and it gets a laugh, I immediately feel so bad at their like expense.
Oh, just because they said something a little odd?
Yeah, like it's I was doing a joke where I said like, paying $40 for a gram of weed. And then like I was at like alley stage and I turned to like a very old person in the front row and I went, "Sir, a gram's supposed to be $15." And everyone laughed. He laughed. He goes, "I know." And I was like, I was like, "I'm so sorry." I'm so like involuntary. I went, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry."
Really? That's so interesting to me because for me, that's the fun.
Yeah.
Is that I do a bit where it's so interesting because when I involve the audience is when I'm having fun. I don't think I used to think I was like too harsh on an audience. I would shut an audience down.
Yeah.
Like I would be too mean. And I think everybody kind of knows I was too mean for a while, especially to a heckler. I've said some of the most fucked up stuff to a heckler. But when I was doing crowd interaction, I have this bit now where I do like the EMDR joke and I say like, "Oh, yeah, I'm in EMDR therapy." And then I continue it due to your recommendation. And I say like, "Oh, you know, they take me to room 4D. Room 4D is nuts." And then that inspired me. And I go more. I go like, my therapist's name is Candace. And then I do that. I do a couple more where I'm like, they use a machine called a Segondes. Have you heard of this? And I keep doing it to the same person the whole time. And then I go, "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to like make fun of you. I'm so sorry. Here, just move past it. I want to help you feel better. I don't know. Do you like e-girls?" And then they'll be like, usually they go like, "No." And I go, "Okay, what about like eye ladies? Like eye ladies nuts on your face?" And then that gets them. And then,
but that's so like silly and impersonal. That's where I feel like I'm like insult. Like there's another time at like Star Bar where like this woman talked about being a scientist and like she like talked about like working like in like biology like labs. And I did kind of like just like crowd work her. I'm like, I was just like, "Oh dude, that's a crazy. You just went up here and just told everyone that you just kill rats for a living." Like every science study is just like, "Well, we stepped on rats and we found out that stepping on rats is bad for them." And like people were like laughing. She was laughing. It was me like, "I'm so sorry. I know you do real work. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to."
No, I think what I think is that I think that's more playful and honestly,
it is. I shouldn't feel this way, but
I'm saying that when someone is teasing in that way, and you can clearly tell there, because you can tell if somebody's actually being mean, or we've been in green rooms where somebody makes a joke and you're like, that was pointed. Yeah. I know your feelings about that person. That was pointed. Everybody's laughing, but I know how you actually feel. And I think we can all kind of tell. But it's that I think it's more than anything when you do that interaction, it immediately you're like, I'm joking around with you in this way because we are friends.
Yeah.
And I know that's like hard to get over. And I know you're saying you don't like doing that. But for me, is I view it as the opposite of when, like the other day I was at a Skull and I said like, "Oh, I like trauma dumping." This woman wooed and I went, "Oh, wooing for trauma dumping. That's a lady who's ruined a hang a few times." And then that's a lady who's ruined a hang a few times. And then she goes, "I'm not saying I did it. I just know what it is." And then I went, okay, have you trauma dumped? And she goes, well, yeah. And I went, so you just proved my point. And then I just went, I'll come back to you later.
Yeah.
And then that got just a laugh of me just being like, yeah, I'll come back. But for me, it was like, I didn't think I was being rude to that woman. And if I do, I will, after a show, apologize. And anytime I have gone a little too far, I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, no, I loved it. It was totally fine. But yeah, I don't think I think for me, if anything, it's like, I like this person now because I've now teased you a bit and I like you more. For me.
Yeah. I don't know where it comes from for me. I don't know why I felt I just keep noticing this trend.
Did your mom or dad growing up tease you a lot?
No, I don't think it's like that either. Like I don't like it's not like towards me. I feel like
This is a question. Did you accidentally bully someone growing up?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I would say that it's more so I feel like weird about the power imbalance. Like I chose to be here on this microphone saying these things. You chose to come to the comedy show. You do not choose to be a part of this, even if like you're having a good time and you know that it could happen. I just took the option away from you, and like you have no say in this now. And like if you really didn't want that, that's fucked up on my part.
Wow. Okay.
That's a
Yeah. That's interesting. I'm more of like hey, you're here. It's kind of like I view it in a way of like, if you're here, that's basically like we're on a date, so I'm gonna flirt with you. You know, it's like you, like if someone comes on a date with me, I'm already assuming they're into me, and I'm gonna flirt with them. Obviously, we're on a date, but it's like I'm gonna try to make you fall in love with me by the end of this date. I'm not gonna love bomb you, but I'm gonna be like, I'm just trying to be my most charming self. And so I view it as like, if you're at a comedy show, you came here for comedy.
one joke and being like, I know it's early, but I've just never felt this way about an audience like this before.
That's actually a really funny thing to do. That's
love bomb
so funny. That's actually such a funny
I
idea.
just feel like a special connection with you.
One joke
Yeah.
is so funny to do that after. That'd be so
like a
funny.
quick little one-liner.
Yeah. Dude, if your first joke is about like if your first joke is about like dating,
Yeah.
and then you go and then they laugh at it and you just go like, wow, I've never felt this way about an audience before. You've already set them up to be in that space. That's such a funny bit. Dude, I'll shout it out, but Rick Glassman apparently goes on stage, walks out on stage to headline, and will start out saying what else, which is very fun.
Yeah.
For I mean, it's gonna be only
That's it.
comedians listening to this.
Andy Samford will do something like that where he'll start his set with, I'll get out of here on this.
That's fun. But back to the conceit of this. How do you feel like you affected your parents?
I think my dad is very much, he's been very vocal about this, especially as I've gotten older, that he's like credits me with like him like getting his life together, like not like a disparaging way to like any of like his friends or anyone like that still like did music, but like he was playing in bands. My dad like went and played South by Southwest, like he like
Wow.
like so like the bands you're in, like a lot of them have like there's like it was very feasible to keep going and to like be like, oh well, no, I could like have a very successful career in this. I'm going to keep working towards that.
Wow.
But then unplanned pregnancy of me, I come along and it kind of like usually takes a step back. He gets everything together. He kind of stops playing altogether to like be able to like sort of like take care of me.
Yeah.
And he said to me, he's like, you know, I see like my friends like there's some friends he has that like, oh yeah, my buddy, he's the touring guitarist for Train, you know?
Wow.
Like, yeah, he goes on the road, like, he, like, plays music professionally, like, as a career. But then there's also the people that, like, stand up the same way. I immediately knew what he was talking about when he was saying this. Not in a disparaging way, but there's people, like, who stick around who are just, like, doing it, and it's more of, like, a substance abuse thing, and, like, just, like, people getting drunk in bars, and, like, not, like, ever, like, really, like... So he just basically credits it, like, he sees like certain paths he could have gone down,
Mm-hmm.
and is very happy with the one that he did because of me.
Yeah.
And so I think I had a positive impact on my dad's life.
Dude, now what you need to do is you need to become the touring guitarist for Train.
Yeah.
Uh,
Actually, very funny. I think he that came out because he's had like friends who like played like Leonard Skinner, like the touring band, stuff like that.
wow.
It's actually Butch Walker, who's from Atlanta, who like was playing in bands around the same time as like my dad, like who like he produced a lot of like pop albums. I think he worked on like one of Taylor Swift's albums, Gwen
That's
Stefani album.
crazy.
He has his own like solo stuff that I love. He has a great song called Grant Park that I love right by there, and I love it. But he's like the guitarist, and he's like taking time off from like his solo stuff, like and just like touring. And
That's crazy.
I wish you could do that like in stand up. I wish there was like an equivalent to that.
There's kinda, it's like writing, you know, you can do a little bit of voice acting.
But like a touring showcase where people are there to see like 3 of the comics, and you just have like people like fill in. Like you don't always get to see that. That'd be a fun. It'd be like the
There's
fill
even
in
stuff with there's even stuff like that with improv. Like Ben Schwartz travels.
Oh yeah.
And he just has like a rotating cast that he does.
And they'll like all
Drop
come to dads and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dropout does a touring live cast right now.
That's they were just here.
And
I've only just recently started watching Dropout stuff.
I like this stuff a lot. I went and saw them live. They were really good.
Alice went to that. She was
Yeah. I imagine.
Also, real quick, would it be crazy if I grabbed another beer?
No.
In the middle of filming a podcast.
I can grab it. Yeah, I'll just be right back.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course.
My mouth just got so dry.
Dude, I get it. I had AJ on last week, and he like got up to go to the bathroom, and I just sat forward and just stared. And I was watching it over, and I was like, "Did I do that? Did I just stare?"
I said like, I'll probably cut this.
I'm actually gonna cut out everything around it.
Just post that.
Yeah. No. But yeah. So I'm always fascinated because like I think the older we get, when you're young, you're like obviously you're 14, you have no control over what's going on. Yeah.
Just make sure it's adjusted.
Yeah, you're good. It'll pick you up. That you're 14, you have no control over what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, can't change the circumstances that you're in. So it's obviously like, why is this happening to me? What is going on? Why are my parents like this to me? And then as you get older, you're hopefully adjusted and you're surviving and you're hopefully thriving on your own. You can start to be like, how did I also affect them? And not in a like blame myself, like, oh no, like give context to be like, okay, so me being just
was I being an annoying ass kid?
Yeah.
If I had to sit and watch fucking 6-year-old me run around, would I need an opioid nap as well?
Yeah. Damn. Would I have to walk around and him talk about suplexes all day?
Yeah, dude. Children are tough to talk to.
No,
I get the dads who are like, yeah, it's way easier when I have a beer.
Dude, for real though, if I ever hypothetically had a kid and my kid was like somehow hated cartoons, I'd be like, I have nothing for you.
But that'd be like paying it back to you, because that's the same equivalent of like your mom loving the poop joke, and you'd be like, this grow up.
Yeah.
You would then be cursed with a kid that like doesn't like cartoons.
Dude, if my kid was just my mom, and then I'm just like, yeah, my kid just loves the dumbest stuff, but also is like weirdly into the things I hate, is like, I really want to watch Gilmore Girls or As Told by Ginger. I'm like, God, I have nothing for you. You couldn't like Looney Tunes at all? Dude, I could tell my mom had bad taste in comedy when she showed me Monty Python's The Holy Grail, and she was like, nah, it's a bit much. And I was like,
a bit much.
And I was like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Dude, Chauncey doesn't like Monty Python. And at one point I was like, I want to watch The Holy Grail. And she is like, okay, well, don't expect me to enjoy it. And I was like, I won't. I'm not watching it for you. I'm watching it for me.
Yeah.
And I think
you
that's
should. If someone does like Monty Python, they're willing to watch with you. You don't show them Holy Grail. You show them Life of Brian.
I think Holy Grail is better. I think Life of Brian is really good. I think Holy Grail is better.
Life of Brian's a better movie.
I think, okay, also, you're talking to me, and my favorite movie is Anchorman 2.
Not even the first one.
Not the first one.
Okay.
First one is a better movie. Second one is funnier. Second one is way more bits.
Exactly, yeah, but that's why you like it. Someone who doesn't like it, give them less bits, give them more. You have to think from the opposition's point of view.
I'm not even trying to think of the opposition. I'm thinking of what I like. The opposition could leave.
It's kind of beautiful in a way. Shout out to you.
Dude.
No, I want everyone to like the things that I like.
Yeah,
I want them to understand. I want them to understand why I think Arsenal is a great club and like why it's important, which is really dumb.
I'm sure if I was into football, that I would have a strong stance. And if somebody said, "Hey, this other team is better," I wouldn't be like, "I respect your opinion." I'd be like, "You are factually wrong." Like, that's how I am. And to where someone, when they say, you know, I mean, we're both big into anime. When somebody's like, One Piece isn't something I can watch, I will argue with them, be like, do you like, what's your favorite food?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, I don't know, like pizza. I'd be like, okay, if I ordered 12 pizzas, would you be like, oh my God, this is too much pizza. No, thank you. I don't like any of it. Or would you be like, oh my God, this is 12 pizzas that I get to savor the whole time? Wow.
That's not the argument I make for One Piece. The argument I make for One Piece is, boy, is it made me cry so much in such a good way. And yes, it's a lot, but here's the thing. We're just going to scroll anyways. Put it on the background and don't even pay attention.
I think that's how you're a more like olive branch of a person than I am. I speak, and this is testament to, I guess, how my parents affected me. I think I speak in a very condescending way.
Yeah.
I have been told by friends that they don't agree. Chauncey doesn't think I do.
Yeah, was go on, not yeah, I agree. Sorry, I realized the way I said that was like, yeah, you speak in a condescending way.
No.
That's not what.
Yeah. You just noticed? But that I speak in a way of, I'm already coming at this conversation from the point of you're wrong. And and no matter what, I have all of the answers.
Yeah.
And I am right. I think I enter every conversation like that. Except for this podcast. This podcast, I have no answers. I have only questions.
I would say for the most part, I agree with that. I think it's very rare. I mean, it'd be kind of funny that guy who continually gets in debates. It's like, I'm about to be wrong as hell, brother. I'm about to make a fucking stinker of a point. But here we go.
Yo, I'm about to make this person mog me so hard.
Yeah. I'm about to get my fucking shit pushed in.
Yeah, it's like a conversation, like cuck, basically. Just wants you to just flex on them the whole time. Like dates lawyers just to be wrong.
Hey, that's kind of how that's what I feel an audience member is sometimes.
Yeah.
Conversation cuck. I literally paid just to not be a part of this conversation, just to let someone else talk.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You talk to my wife. Yeah. You tell her what's up. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I paid good money in here to make sure you're the only one who got opinions.
I want everyone else in this room to shut up, and I want to hear your opinion only. And I know it's wrong, and I'm going to like it.
Ooh, maybe that's like a thing of stand-up. Like, obviously, like, I grew up, like, my mom being, like, kind of asleep a lot from the bills. And my grandpa that I lived with, like, he was sick. Had, like, a lot of strokes, like, was in bed. So I was just, like, I just had a lot of thoughts to myself.
Okay.
Growing up, like, a lot of, like, very alone in the house.
Yeah.
So
you're just thinking.
Yeah, so now I'm, like, now it's everyone's turn to listen to the thoughts.
I kind of feel that way. I grew up in a house where I wasn't allowed to have opinions. If I had an opinion, it was wrong. I was very much in a under my house or under my roof, under my house, not type of home. And so a lot, and it really was your first priority is make sure mom is okay.
Mhm.
You know the game Don't Wake Daddy?
Yeah.
Ours was don't interact with mommy.
Yeah.
Very much
Having to walk on eggshells about everything.
yeah, for sure. Every single thing, dude. At one point, the McDonald's put ketchup on my mom's burger, and she was screaming at me and my sister so hard about it that she took a bottle of ketchup on the table and threw it, and it hit the wall and splattered all the way up in a straight up line. And we just had to clean that up.
That's God loves his little jokes, doesn't he? Giving someone with an extremely short temper an autistic child.
Dude.
That literally will like take a long time for them to read your cues and what's bothering you, and they are not going to pick up on it. Like that is one of God's little jokes.
That's where a lot of the times some kids are misdiagnosed because it's like, oh, they're not autistic, they're just growing up in a complex PTSD household. And then I was diagnosed and none of my other siblings were. So then that's where I'm like, nah.
No, this one's me.
Yeah. That I'm
Mea culpa. It is your fault for having autism.
It is true.
Mea culpa.
Dude, that's where I try to joke about it, that I was like, the fact that my mom at 28 had an ADHD 5-year-old girl and a newborn autistic baby that is overstimulated by everything and has no communication skills whatsoever and is just screaming, crying all the time. The fact that she did not strangle either one of us is love on the spectrum. That's the real thing. Follow that. Don't be following these guys who are like dating, which by the way, I dislike that show makes autistic men and women date other people with Down syndrome. I hate that.
I've never really watched it. That's kind of weird. That's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. That's like making an orangutan date a gorilla. It's like those are in the same.
Okay,
thing.
well in this scenario, which one's the orangutan? Which one's the gorilla?
Autism gorilla, because we big.
Okay.
We pound our chest. And then you know, that is true.
I like to ask questions that just get people in trouble.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
make your argument for which great ape you think mentally challenged people are. Please.
Okay, so autistic people are gorillas because we have tiny dicks and proportionate to our body, and we're very fickle. You know, a gorilla, very fickle, will just randomly attack. You know, that's pretty fickle. Down syndrome, orangutan, because they're so fun.
I was thinking because orangutans have the eyes closer together, it makes their face look wider.
Also, the arms to body proportion. I know that they're longer, but just like odd body proportions, that's another thing.
I do love an orangutan, man.
They're pretty sick.
They're the funniest looking one. Why did this one? You look at all like, there's different versions of like apes, and then you can go off to like chimps, monkeys, all the different like all the splits off. Why is this one orange and got like a weird fucking like Caesar cut naturally? Like why you got the little belly?
Also,
and, like,
gorilla has like gorilla face. You see that, you're like, that's a face. Orangutan got the thing that comes like out, and you're just like, his face has the Fentley. Like that's.
You could bounce some fucking radar dish.
Yeah.
Off there. That is a dish TV ass face.
Yeah. Dude, it's straight up like his face is a saucer, you know?
But none of them, they either have hair or like a light amount. They look like they have a man who is balding, in his 40s, just really trying to struggle to keep it going. Like that is their entire look. The milky, the big pot belly, no hair on that, and then the little Caesar cut.
It makes me so happy to see when like other animals look like they're balding, because then it is funny to be like,
yeah.
Do you think that affects them? Like, you think that they at some point like they're like, oh, it's really going back, you know?
I feel like chimps as they get older lose hair, and I think that's usually like a sign for At least you can start challenging them for dominance.
I do.
Like as younger. Yeah, you start challenging the chimps.
Yeah.
You might want to wait again another 20, 30 years. Whatever chimp you see.
I mean, I'm here today to let you know I lost every single fight. um,
I love chimps.
yeah, chimps are pretty sick.
Sorry, I'm just talking about animals now.
Dude, I'm a big aquarium guy.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the most autistic things about me. I love an aquarium.
that was
I know a lot about sharks.
Yeah.
And
What's your favorite shark fact?
I mean,
Or is any weird ones that come to the dome?
I mean, just like this isn't a weird one to me, but it's for some reason less common than I think. This is, to me, this is household information. That one, the movie of Jaws obviously features a great white, but the stories that eventually come from it of like the fear of sharks that came about of hunting them, of like, oh, like they swim up the Mississippi and they bite you and stuff like that, and they cause death and stuff. That's not a great white. That's a bull shark. Bull shark is the only shark that can go in fresh water. It's also the most.
Which one's the bull shark? What's it look like?
It's gray. It's like a kind of like matte gray, like a browner kind of gray. It's not as long. A great white is huge. A bull shark is shorter. It's like rounder. And it's the most aggressive shark.
Jesus.
It's the most aggressive shark. The second most aggressive shark is the tiger shark.
And the third most aggressive shark is Mark Cuban.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And Kevin. Yeah.
Oh, that's what it should have been. The actual most aggressive shark in the world is Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah. The third most aggressive shark is Kevin O'Leary. He really will just cut through you and bite through your profit margins. But that's a good riff. Yeah, then great whites are known as like an aggressive shark technically because they do test bite. So all sharks test bite, you know. They'll because they don't have great eyesight. They just kind of go by senses and stuff like that. So they bite things to see what it is, you know? And oftentimes the people who like go to the beach and get bit by a shark, especially in shallow water, that was not that the shark was like trying to kill you. It's a test bite. It's just, you know, feeling out what's going on. That sucks. It sucks to be bit by a shark. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Cause I always wondered why like they just take like a fucking leg and then they go. I'm like, what?
So that's usually a great white. The reason is that they have high fatalities versus other sharks on humans, not because they are an aggressive shark that just loves to kill. Their test bite is so strong that like the likelihood of dying is larger. A great white shark is like, it's not a docile shark, but its test bite is just massive.
Yeah.
It's a huge shark. It's like 17 feet, 20 feet long. It's a huge shark. It's a massive creature that naturally, versus the bull shark, its test bite is going to be crazy and it's going to cause a lot more damage. And so that's why fatalities for great whites are higher. That's why they were hunted so much. That's why Jaws made it it's like the most impressive, like incredible looking shark. That's why that's why aquariums don't usually have a great white. It's just like, it's such a crazy shark. It's literally like, I think it's like the coolest looking shark besides maybe like the crescent fin. The crescent fin is so sick. The crescent fin, regular shark, and then its back tail is just like a full crescent moon shape. It's really cool.
Your mom on 40 minutes of Shark Talk just throwing another bottle at the wall.
No, my mom didn't drink. My mom wasn't a drinker, wasn't drugged.
I read the ketchup bottle.
Okay. She's just like, I can't deal with that sharks. Yeah. No, and then also realizing my mom is sober on these conversations. Just full sober, not checked out at all.
Yeah.
She's just like, but she's really religious.
Maybe she should have tried taking the edge off a little bit.
Dude. Honestly, she would have been like 3 beers in. She'd been like, Crescent man.
Hey, maybe she should have tried like 20 plus years of opioids.
Just like sitting there like, damn, bull shark crazy.
Yeah. You're just like, damn, yeah. That is. I like to think that you know, like how like just getting older, the brain changes. Your memories, they change over time. But you're not like doing it consciously, so it changes. So I try to think of like, I do try to look back, and usually when you have trauma, or like a bad living situation,
Fog.
yeah, it does. It's very hard to like, because there was plenty of times, obviously, I interacted with my mom, but like the feeling, like the prevailing thing, was always been like she was like nodding off, because those are the moments that really burned into my brain, like
yeah.
watching a cigarette like burn a hole in her shirt, like sitting in the
Wow.
house, like those are like the moments that are like stuck in my brain.
They're burned into your brain.
Yeah. But then like that's what I try to think of, like I think if I came up to my mom with like a bunch of shark facts, it was just on like a regular day, like a random day, she'd be so supportive of that and like love that and placate it and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like it is like you have to remember, again, just not even compare situations, but just
Did you have anything like that when you were a kid that you were like, I can talk about this all day? For like wrestling, I assume.
I loved wrestling. No.
So this is just
I get hyper fixated on little things for a short amount of time.
ADHD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I know.
a new cartoon or like a new whatever.
Yeah.
I'd be very obsessed with that. And then like
For a few months.
I wasn't one of those kids that's like, I just fucking love bugs, dude. Like I was never one of those kids. But like like they have a special like, oh, I love like sea animals. I love like whatever. Like they have their thing. I never really.
My mom got me a book about sharks when I was very, very young, and I didn't realize I had taught myself how to read.
Explain.
So basically I like learned, I was actually a pretty smart kid. I just didn't ever have a work ethic implemented within me. But basically I remember going to kindergarten and she was like going over the letters. And I remember very specifically opening it. We were on the letter O and I opened it up and it was an O and it was like spelled out like the O. And then it was like the word olive, to be like, hey, this is a word that starts with O. You know what an olive is. This is a photo.
Explain.
So basically I like learned, I was actually a pretty smart kid. I just didn't ever have a work ethic implemented within me. But basically I remember going to kindergarten and she was like going over the letters. And I remember very specifically opening it. We were on the letter O and I opened it up and it was an O and it was like spelled out like the O. And then it was like the word olive, to be like, hey, this is a word that starts with O. You know what an olive is. This is a photo of an olive. And I remember just reading that and going, olive. And then, like, I looked at the image and I went, that's how you spell olive. I know that now. And then, I remember I was like at home. I was probably like 5, maybe around there. So kindergarten, and my mom had the Left Behind books and I pulled one out of the, I know. Crazy throwback.
You learned to read and your first book is one of the Left Behind books?
Yeah, I wasn't picking up on plot, but I was just like, I was just practicing reading, basically. I would just grab a book and I would just look at words and then I would be like, I wasn't intentionally doing this, but I realized now in hindsight, I was like associating being like, do I know what this word is? Can I read these words? And I remember reading it. And as I'm going through the book, I remember it said like, and he walked over to the mailbox and I went, mailbox. Oh, that's a mailbox. Okay. Yes, I know. And then I remember it just registered to me. I just read the word mailbox. And at the time that was the longest word I've ever read.
Teaching a kid to read than only having a copy of Dianetics in your house. We're gonna get him on Scientology early.
Like the idea of like just teaching me. Yeah, my son knows how to read. He can read his own horoscope. But yeah, so I basically like figured out how to read before class was teaching how to read. Basically, they were teaching us letters and stuff like that. And I was already reading the words.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I didn't know that this is reading.
That's you're in class already like reading that. You're like, teacher, yes, I understand that. But what do we do when the rapture happens and we don't get brought up with the rest of our family? They're like, oh, what is going on at home? Nothing. He's just a good reader.
Yeah. No, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's separate. It's separate. Teacher, yes, this is interesting. But what if I'm a bad boy and God punishes me by keeping me on the planet Earth for the apocalypse?
Jacob, we'll talk about that afterwards. Everyone else, this is X. This is Y.
Ah, X, is it excommunicated from the church that I believe in? I will be stuck on the planet when Jesus raged with his army. That's such a funny.
You just put a fear into my head if like I have a kid. I'm like I like reading like weird like horror like sci-fi like but they're like books. I'm like not to be aware of like whatever books so that if they learn to read without me realizing they're just gonna pick up, that's just gonna be burned into their brain. That's gonna be
See, that's the thing is that Left Behind is not burned into my brain. I know the premise of it, but I was like reading it to read it, you know?
Yeah.
I do remember I went to the library, my school library, and my mom's favorite animal is a giraffe. And I mean, like as a 6-year-old kid, 5 or 6-year-old kid, you're obsessed with your mom.
Yeah.
You know?
My grandma loves giraffes. There's giraffes all over the place at her.
We didn't have giraffes anywhere, but I would always ask my mom questions. I'd be like, Mom, what's your favorite animal? And then she'd be like, it's a giraffe. Like, I'm asking her the questions no one else wants to know because I'm like, I am intrigued by you. You're the only person I really know.
Yeah.
Cara is mean and is older than me and puts me in a dress when you're gone. So I like you even though you yell at me when you're here, you know? And so I would ask my mom. And so I went to the library and I found I was in kindergarten, I found in the first grade section, there was a book about giraffes. And I wanted to rent the book to bring to my mom. And so I wanted to read about giraffes with her.
Yeah.
And the librarian just goes, you can't read that book. And I went, I can. And she goes, you have to read a page in front of me and not mess up more than 3 times. And I'll let you check out that book and go home.
God forbid a man have goals. Let him struggle and try to learn to read the book.
It was literally a picture book of giraffes. And then I'm just learning to read. And it's like, you don't want me to challenge you want me to just always coast at the level I'm at.
That's so funny, the idea of a librarian that's like fucking jaded, smoking a cigarette. A kid comes into your library, brother, to rent a book to read. And you're like, you couldn't fucking possibly want to do that. Absolutely no way.
What is that, a case of wonder?
Yeah.
Get that out of here.
I
literally told her, I was like, I want to check out this book to read with my mom. And then she goes, well, you have to read a page in front of me. And then I couldn't. And then I cried. And then she was like, all right, we'll get out. And then I left the library.
There's the opposite of every librarian I've ever heard of in my life.
No, that was my librarian. That was my elementary school librarian.
I make a kid cry. I'm like, just fucking take the book, man. You don't even got to return it.
I didn't get the book.
That's what I would do, though. I'd be like, I just made this kid cry
over a book. And I literally told her, I was like, I want to read this with my mom. Her favorite animal is giraffes. Who could see the sweetest child in the world? I do want to preface, I'm like 4'8".
Yeah.
I'm a huge kid. I'm massive. I was taller than like second graders as a kindergartner. So when I was like 10, I was like 5'4". So like I was born 2 feet tall. So I'm huge. So she's like, this is a developmentally difficult child and not one who is in kindergarten.
Yeah.
I do now have her perspective of she's like, no, I can't let because in her mind,
even then, what's the worst case scenario? You take it home, you don't read it, and then you return it?
Here, in her mind, I think she's like, he's developmentally challenged. Why give him hope? You know? But
I would just love to be like, hey, man, your job is to rent the books.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
You don't get to decide you went to school for a master's to know how to sort these books?
Yeah.
You ain't got to tell a child he can't read.
The only people you report to are anybody wanting a book and the Dewey Decimal System.
No other job is like that. If someone comes into my restaurant and they're like, I want to order a plate of food. I can't be like, prove you can eat first.
Yeah. Prove 3 bites of
Yeah, prove
breadstick.
to me you can eat before I, like, no, that's my job. I just gotta bring them. If they suck at eating, that's on them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny. Although there are some jobs that are like that of like, I want to do surgeries. And it's like, okay, we'll give you a few. You got to prove to us,
Yeah,
you got to prove that you know what you're doing. Pilot, you got to fly a few planes.
but that's
But yeah, when
but
you're,
that makes sense to the person doing the job. It's not like she's getting checked out.
oh yeah, true.
She's checking out the customer. She's
Yeah, yeah.
bringing the customer.
True. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's to inverse it there is like, you're like, I want to get a surgery. It's like, well, prove you can handle it first.
Yeah.
You got to go through some, we'll give you like an ingrown toenail procedure. Then we'll give you like a colonoscopy.
Oh, you need a pacemaker put in? Name all the ventricles in the heart and what muscles I would have to cut through to get there. Yeah.
Oh, you need a pacemaker right now? Okay. Run in place and let me see what your heart looks like.
Show me a heart attack.
Yeah.
Show me you actually can do this.
Yeah. Show me you're big enough.
Show me a heart attack.
Yeah, no, that stuck with me. That I remember I went home and cried to my mom. I was like, Mom, I tried to rent this book for you. And she was like, and she was honestly, to my mom's credit, when she would be the meanest to her kids, but when someone else was mean to her kids, she'd be like, I will destroy you.
No one beats my kids but me.
Dude, it's kind of like when somebody bullies your sibling.
Yeah.
And that it's like, hey, I do that.
Yeah.
Not you. Basically, my mom is like, nobody emotionally destroys my son.
Yeah, I would call the school. I'm still kind of, I want to know I want to go back, because it's just every librarian has their reputation of being either very nice or they're just like, like that's how they're mean, is like make you like be quiet.
They're strict, but they want you to learn. They encourage it. Yeah. No,
there's just, I just love the idea. I can't get over it. Of the like, you ain't built for this. You ain't built for this. Get out of here. Go smoke a cigarette on the playground. You ain't built for this reading life.
You want to read this book about draft? It took me 6 years to read that book. It took me 6 years to get to the level that I needed.
And then to start crying and be like, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
You're going to wash out.
I better read through them tears.
Yeah, she just
It kind of makes me low-key want to be a librarian. I didn't know you can get away with being that fucked up to kids.
Dude, school librarian too, not just like public library, school library. And to like, imagine she whispers down to me, she just goes like, I knew you would wash out. I knew you couldn't handle this. Let me check how we're doing here. We are at 1:38. Wow, we've been going a while. We can I got probably one last little question here for you.
1:38?
Oh no, an hour 38.
I was
Sorry.
about to say.
Whoops. Yeah, I really like to give a big preamble before we start the podcast.
Should we start recording now?
Yeah. But I guess my last thing is like, yeah, I do
7 inches.
That's okay. I actually do want to ask, is there a secret or some type of story that you haven't been able to share before that you would like to share now? And I can cut it too as well.
Trying to think. I mean, when I was like 12, 13 in middle school, I started smoking weed with like, full circle when I walked in, because we were talking about Mormons.
Yeah.
This Mormon kid, I tried to talk about this on stage, it never quite works. I can't, like, the context that's required. It was this Mormon kid that I'd go over to his house, and his older brother sold weed, and like we'd smoke and stuff like that.
Wow.
And there's this girl in the neighborhood. Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna cut this.
Okay.
This is just for you. I didn't talk about this far on stage. There's this girl in the neighborhood. She's like a high schooler. She's a little bit older. Like, we would hang out with her and like smoke weed. And we started drinking, and I had never blacked out before.
Oh, wow.
I had never I think just like being a fucking child and like weed and alcohol. We were drinking a Four Loko.
Dude. What are the original Four Locos?
Yes,
dude?
and like the way Four Locos actually meant to be drank is split between 4 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Um.
Not the way they were done.
Yeah. But I don't remember. I wake up at Steven's house and I go home and I get this call, being like, "Hey, dude, her dad's calling the cops." And I'm like,
Whoa.
"What?" And he's like, "Her dad's calling the cops on you." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like,
Yeah.
are you fucking with me right now? Like, what? He goes, no. Her dad walked in on y'all hooking up in the backseat of like the Volkswagen Bug in the garage, saw you and like chased you out. I was like, I don't really remember. I remember being at the house and I don't remember much after that. I'm like, I don't know what happened, but I'm like, you're fucking with me. And I was like freak out. I could not like ever figure out. I never really, so I stopped interacting with them because I very shortly afterwards got like arrested, put on probation, and like went to like another high school.
Wow.
It was like one of the last interactions we had, but it also seemed like the type of thing he would just do to fuck with me. Like he was a weird dude like that.
Whoa.
And so I just still like to this day don't know if I just don't remember my first sexual interaction at 12, and also her dad caught us.
Wait, so the dad called the cops on you and like you got fully arrested?
No, I got arrested for smoking weed later. Like about like 3 weeks, 4 weeks later.
Okay.
But no, her, like he was saying the next morning after I was already home, is like, I just talked to her and she said her dad's calling the cops. And that's, I was like, even at that age, I was like, but that makes no sense because I'm already home.
Yeah.
He doesn't know my name. He doesn't know who I am. If just calling and be like, someone fucked my daughter. Like that's like, what are they doing with that? Like, it's like,
I recognize the penis. I know who it is.
but it doesn't make sense. I'm like, I was freaking out. So I don't know if that was any,
Yeah, that's crazy. That's insane. My first sexual encounter, I very much remember. And I had the thought of, as soon as we started having actual sex, I immediately thought this was overhyped. Like TV and movies, every character is always obsessed with like, oh, we gotta have, so many movies are like, I'm about to lose my virginity, I'm about to have sex or whatever. And then afterward, they're like, the best thing ever, like all this different. And so then the very first time I remember I medically penetrate this woman, and then I thought, yeah, this was overhyped. And then I thought I could have been hanging with my boys.
could not be me.
Really?
No, again,
That's crazy.
to
me.
like the first like interactions I did have were like, getting like head or whatever, like and stuff, shit like that for a while until the first time I had sex. And then that girl was on birth control. Didn't even think about that. Thank God she was, because I was just so overwhelmed. And it was like, I'm talking dark room, couldn't see anything, just like almost sensory deprivation tank. Just truly only focused on that feeling. And I was like, this fucking rules.
Oh, no, for me, I was like, very much so like, yeah, once this is done, I think I'm gonna go back to hanging with my boys. But then
I did go hang with my boys afterwards.
I did go hang with my boys. Oh, immediately. You gotta do it. But I was like, they were like, how was it? And I was like, dude, like, I don't understand why everybody is obsessed with this. This is fine. It's like, I still do it, I'm not like celibate since then, but I'm like, yeah, this is fine.
No, we've had this conversation, the good food or good sex for the rest of your life.
Good food 100%. But I grew up in a I grew up in a house that was food scarce.
I would say, yeah, food does make sense, but just the quickness with which you answer it.
it discomforts me.
Yeah.
No, I will 100% say, and there's a debate for the comments as well. Good food or good sex, which would you prefer? You can't have the other. Whichever you choose, can't have the other. I choose good food 100%. I would rather have mediocre sex for the rest of my life and amazing food every day.
Mm.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably go with food.
It's not even a debate in my mind.
Yeah, I'd probably go with food. Because I don't know, like...
It could be 7 out of 10 food and 6 out of 10 sex, and I would be perfectly content.
Oh, that's what I was going to say, is like, but like the gulf of like what is good and bad food, like, is so wide that like, I don't know, I think I could handle some
I also don't
bang average fucking meals.
I also don't masturbate anymore. I haven't
Not since the incident.
Not since the scourge. But I haven't masturbated in over a year. So I don't do that anymore. And I'm still not like a sex fiend or anything like that. I'm like a once every other week.
You should go back to doing it.
No.
If you there's like multiple studies that if you come 28 times a month, you can get it the other way around. I mean, you don't have to drag out. I'm saying to boost some numbers up, way less likely to have prostate cancer.
Yeah. And my girlfriend showed me that. And I still was like, that sounds like a lot. That's so much. Even when I was masturbating, I was only doing it like once every 4 days.
4 hours, though.
Once every 4. When I was young, you know, it was like, you know, you're 13 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like once every day, or something like that. But even then, like towards high school, it was like I would go like a week. I would do it once a week because I was like, oh, I like it more when I go space without.
Yeah.
And then I trained myself on just like going longer and longer swaths of time.
I would just do it like whenever, you know, want to, could.
Between classes.
Well, no, I mean like recently, like in my like adult life.
Yeah,
like,
still
like work,
classes.
working and like saying about all this stuff, like seeing friends, all that, whatever. Like, oh, like cool. Maybe like before bed, I'll rub one out, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
But then now, I quit my restaurant job and I'm in between. I'm just about to start working another restaurant job, and it has been like picking up an old hobby. Goes right back to it.
Like going back to playing guitar.
Yeah, like something like it never left.
Yeah. Well, that is the podcast here. I think my phone might actually just about run out in a second here.
Yeah.
So that has been the podcast here, guys. That is Good Kid, Bad Parents. Thank you so much. This has been such a fun time. Any things you want to shout out or anything like that?
No, because this will probably come out before
This will come out this weekend.
this weekend.
Yeah, this coming week.
All right, so I'll say a lot of things ever. My last
Monday.
Star Bar residency is Monday. I'm just going. Just follow me, Zach W Comedy on Instagram. Post shows in the Atlanta area, all around the Southeast.
Oh wait, you said Skull. Do you mean Star Bar?
Oh, I'm doing Skull this weekend, but if it's coming out this weekend, but then my last Star Bar residency.
Okay, cool.
Monday. That matters. Just follow me. I post shows. You can see me in your area.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Zach is very funny. Happy to have him. Enjoy the episode. I hope you did. Thank you so much.